As we approach the tail end of the calendar year for 2025, and we saw who was bound for glory, so much has happened, and I'm sure you will believe changes are further to come as TNA reaches a turning point tonight at Full Sail University. And this is Simply Predicting. Welcome to the discussion. Hello, everybody. Bloody friggin' hell. Damn it. And yes, congratulations in advance, spoiler alert, to the new TNA World Champion, Frankie Kazarian.
Had to get Noah right out the jump.
Of course you did. And that being said, welcome everybody once again to another, what should be a rousing edition of Simply Predicting Anything But. You know what this is. I am the Simpleton of the Simple Brand, the voice of SLS for Great Professional Wrestling, TNA Faithful for Life. Damn it. And my name is Noah Foster, and with me this time are a fantastic four. I have the renegade of wrestling, JJ Williams, living embodiment of Frank Kazarian and Christmas spirit. One half of Dominguez, Emmanuel, and this guy who is not trying to follow down anything right now, unless the Predictions League, Charles Schultz. And thank you all for tuning in, whether live or on demand. Please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend. We want to dictate the conversation. Super chat, pay about our pages, as simple as that. And you, of course, will find a link to the Predictions League forum, of course, on my post community tab here on YouTube, on my social medias, and will be in the comments section after the stream concludes. Without further ado, let's go ahead and give everybody's initial thoughts before we dive into tonight's card. First and foremost, gotta start off with the guy that's already raised my ire because I'm finally eating crow after freaking 11 months. Damn it. The Renegade Wrestling, JJ Williams, also known as one of the closest men ever to the future, now the present, 20 plus years later with the big one, Frank Kazarian, JJ Williams. As if I have to ask, JJ, how are you? But also how you feeling about Turning Point and your friend finally achieving the accomplishment in TNA Wrestling. Damn it.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
I'm right.
Noah, I have been telling you for about as long as Frankie has been back in TNA that his day is coming.
Damn it.
And you, ever the pessimist, did not want to believe me.
No.
Truth be told, I thought he'd get it before Joe Hendry did.
Mm-hmm.
But they made it wait. Patience is a virtue, and it is well worth the wait. For the naysayers, bow down to the king. And for those of us like myself,
damn it,
and the West Coast professor, Jeff Mother Effin Meacham, we haven't hit the 5-minute mark yet. Frankie, we are and have always been your loyal subjects, ready to serve the future. And the future is now, and the future looks damn good.
I still can't fucking believe it. There it is, folks.
Get used to it, Noah.
I'm going to have to. Damn it. Well, thank you for that, JJ. That in mind, how do you feel about Turning Point tonight? We got 8 matches on tap here. Oy.
Look, everyone knows that I've been absent from the product as of late.
Yeah.
I am very much looking forward to rectifying that. I actually watched Dynamite this week, live, with you guys doing the watch along for my commentary. The first thing that I've watched in real time in a long time. I would be watching SmackDown tonight if I didn't have to work. That said, storylines notwithstanding, I'm very much looking forward to Turning Point. I was already looking forward to it. And then the news broke yesterday, courtesy of Sean Ross Sapp, about Joe Hendry signing with WWE.
He said his
Say
name.
his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. Say his name and...
Sorry, his name enough. Yeah, continue.
And then the news broke about Frankie winning the championship.
What a freaking day.
And that just increased my excitement exponentially. Think about this. Not only, Noah, has Frankie Kazarian finally achieved the top of the mountaintop, but he dethroned Santana on the 20th anniversary of the passing of Eddie Guerrero.
Orderly.
You want to talk about some heel heat?
Woof.
Unintentional? There you go, right there.
About to say, it speaks for itself. It's freaking authentic, just homegrown heat. Dadgummit.
And I was wearing my Filthy Animals shirt last night when me and Datilla talked about the turning point in honor of Eddie. So,
God rest his soul. Well, thank you for that, JJ. Again, congratulations to your boy. And also, thank you for that heads up. And again, folks, I apologize for last night. I was not feeling well. I had a sinus headache since literally yesterday morning. Been asleep for the last 12 hours. But I'll be damned if I don't see the predict professional wrestling event for you that we cover here in the Super Reliable Studios, being your reliable, open-minded source towards all things wrestling. Shout out to DW fam. Thank you for that, JJ. All right, let's go ahead and get the other panelists' thoughts. First and foremost, one half of course, one of the MVPs of the Super Reliable Studios family, the Dominguez. Emmanuel, how are you and how you feel about TNA Turning Point? Been a moment.
Yeah, it's been a moment. Feeling excited. Like it's like it got me intrigued now. Like last week was like a filler episode. I was kind of disappointed on that. I feel like if you had no matches, fill out the 2 hours before I even had the episode. Like it made no sense for me. It's just like we'll be back in 2 weeks and that'll be fine. Like
We'll be right back, like I do when I lose all control. Continue.
Yeah. So yeah, but what happened last night? It was crazy. When I was waiting for you, like I saw JJ online, I was like, I messaged him right away, going, "Did you see what just happened in TNA?" And he told me yes, and like the mention of NXT happening. That's what happened next. Afterwards, I thought NXT is going to interrupt Frankie for cashing in, but that didn't happen. And once they're bellowing, like I kind of figured that Santana's going to lose the title, which is which is sad. Like because I texted earlier, he was even surprised that his title ring was so short. So it makes us wonder if he's going to be a surprise entrant in the Raw or SmackDown, or what's going to happen. Why the sudden decision, why to give it to Frankie. But it is what it is. It's going to be intriguing how they go with the storyline.
Yeah, I'm about to say, and again, with the fact that Turning Point is the first show just after Bound for Glory, to your point, this is the first time we're getting actual after pay-per-view activity in full from what felt like a indefinite hiatus as they approach their final TNA Plus special of the year, final resolution, and honestly, it might be the final resolution before we start calling TNA a similarity in WWE versus the alternative that at first was meant to be. It's a very scary future I might be premonitioning, but again, I might just be going way too far off the tangent. Then again, we just saw the freaking rejects of NXT take the title away from Mike Santana. Kaz been involved in NXT. Almost feels like an inside job. Even though it started off with freaking Ava Rain and Santina Marella, everything's mutual, fine. Our partnership, everything's fine. Everything's fine. That conspiracy theory aside, I'm going to leave that all to the wayside. But thank you for that, Emmanuel. And certainly last but not least, Charles Schultz, it's good to have you on the audio once again for Simply Predicting. How you feeling about TNA Turning Point, my friend? Been a moment.
I'm feeling good. I just hope questioning 4 weeks, but But hey, well, I guess we gotta accept the fact Trick Williams had a longer world title run than Mike Santana.
I mean, again, he got Josh Alexander, just not on the same night. But to JJ's point, Josh did eventually win the title back. So again, I will trust the process and see what happens. But still, your NXT is really starting to get on my effing nerves, especially with that roach Robert Stone on the screen in a TNA ring. Anyway, without further ado, Cinema Dating community, panelists, enthusiasts, TNA faithful, NXT followers, new and old too. Let's get right into it. So again, this is Cinema Dating, and this time we are in TNA for TNA Turning Point. TNA Turning Point will come to us from the film of My NXT, Full Sail University. Of course, that starts tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, exclusively for TNA Plus subscribers on the TNA Plus app. One user per device. So try your luck to share that, folks. Good luck with that. So anyway,
really quickly, Noah, I just DM'd you the updated image since Frankie won the title.
Oh, you mean
So
this?
Frank, yeah, the updated one of that. So the title is now on Frankie instead of Santana.
Thank you for that. I'll be sure to upload that as we talk. So we got 8 matches on tap here, and while you definitely are far more worth than your what you make as far as when it comes to money and quality, we got this guy in this match once again. You already know how I feel about him. So let's just go ahead and get this match out of the way. It might as well be on the countdown. We got flopped out AJ Francis taking on BDE. BDE, one of the prize prospects from the independent scene. We saw him debut at Bound for Glory during the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. Pretty impressive showing. Legitimately, folks, by the way, every one of these matches, except the tag match, was made last night. So your story is less than 24 hours right now going. But I'm still going to fill you in because that's what I do here. BDE was planned for a table by the giant pain in the ass. And freaking hell, he challenged him for a match. And Team Morella made it official. And that's why this is happening. Obviously, BDE struck a nerve with AJ Francis at Bound for Glory. As, of course, AJ was teamed by the entire Team A roster. At least that's one thing we could all agree on when it came to eliminating this guy. But either way, BDE has a huge chance right now to make his first impact in his first singles match here in TNA Wrestling. As you all know, it's predicting. Here's how the story goes. Because there's only 4 of us, we got such a minimal card. Everyone will give their thoughts. When it comes to bigger shows and bigger panels, we'll handle on a need-by-need basis of agree or disagree. So let's go around the horn, and you already know who I'm picking, so I don't need to say anything else, and see what y'all think about this first time ever exhibition. BDE and the other guy, AJ Francis. And also, don't worry about his penthouse cronies because Rich Swann is in a different match and Casey Navarro is still injured. To Casey, I wish the best because it feels like AJ tossed to the side. Go figure. That being said, from somebody that loves Cheez-Its to somebody else that endorses football, Cheez-Its, and other snacks, and apparently this guy, for what it's worth, when he doesn't flop over the top rope. He's not banned from diving, apparently not banned from being predicted on. Kind of wish he was. JJ, go ahead. Talk about this fool, but talk about your expectation for BDE. I don't know if you saw Bound for Glory, but BDE, pretty impressive showing during the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. He has yet to have a match in TNA Wrestling, and honestly, he might be a new prospect to TNA Wrestling. Shout out, by the way, to Mila Moore, the newest signed Knockouts to TNA. Congratulations to her. Sounds like she's going to become a real problem for this Knockouts division. Curious to see what she brings. What do you think about this one-on-one match? Considering AJ Francis right now, I mean, what the hell is he doing here in TNA at this point? I mean, he lost out trying to get the TNA National Championship back in April. He lost out on the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, thankfully. He has not been TNA World Champion. He hasn't gone after TNA X Division Champion. That would definitely break limits and Cheez-Its. So what do you think comes from this? I don't think BD is going to put him through a table. Last time we saw AJ on our screens, the Hardys put him in his place through a table. But clearly, every grudge right now with AJ Francis comes with putting somebody through a table. So maybe that's what this escalates to. What do you think about this one-on-one?
Well, I am going to correct you on one thing, and that's only because, and I'm sorry for stealing your thunder, Charles, but he pointed it out in the chat yesterday when I did this with Tatilla.
Go for it.
These two have met before at Wrestling Revolver, where BDE defeated AJ Francis.
Oh, really? Okay.
So this is not a first time ever meeting, just first time on a major stage, on television, if you will.
Okay, cool. I respect that. Thank you for that. Again,
I look at this as just a exhibition. I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of it has to do with placement on the match, on the card.
Mm-hmm.
With AJ having chokeslammed Rich Swann during the Call Your Shot, I don't know if the First Class Penthouse is still on good terms or if they've gone their separate ways, because again, I haven't watched. It could just be one of those things where it was like, hey, it was every man for himself. I had to do what I had to do. But if Rich Swann holds any resentment, he could come out and cost AJ the match, allowing BDE to get the dub here. That's honestly the only way I see BDE getting the dub. Otherwise, this needs to be a squash. AJ needs to assert his dominance, show that he's not the joke that everybody thinks he is. So I'm going for AJ here. And I probably won't be able to get the form completed because being at work starting after this. So please make note of my picks they will be official here on the show. So my money is on AJ Francis.
Just for you, JJ, and you're the only person I'll do this for as far as this panel goes. I will make it the exception because, of course,
it's only because it's so last minute that we're doing this show. If there was going to be more time, I'd figure out a way to do the form, but I'm probably going to have to go from this to clock in. So
yeah, that's why, again, I'm going to keep this under an hour, like I said, TK time. And again, once I add, he literally made this damn show last night on TNA Wrestling. Last night.
I would love to see this go under an hour, but I highly doubt it. That is the epitome of highly unlikely in all likelihood. Look above you, Noah. We're already at 17 minutes, and we're only discussing the first match.
That's because you glowed about Kazarian for the first 10 minutes.
Damn right! Can you blame me? Can you blame me? How much did you gloat when Joe Hendry finally won the title?
Damn it.
Thank you.
All right. Well, again, no more segues. All right. So that being said, he's got AJ. Moving on. We're going to go right around the horn here. Hopefully this is quick. Seriously, don't take too long. Damn it. Don't take too long talking about this match, you two on the bottom. Manuel, AJ, or BD, what you got to say?
Show some respect from AJ Francis. No, AJ Francis for the win.
Dickhead. Charles, do you agree with these lollygaggers?
No, I don't.
Thank Christ.
I highly doubt this is going to be a squash. Because AJ Francis respects BD that much, so it's probably not going to be a squash. But I still expect BD to win the match.
Yeah, nothing else. You could just make the guy literally flop over the top rope and trip over a wire and win via count. At the end of the day, if AJ is the opposable force that you can't beat, and you try and outsmart him in TNA, outsmart this giant buffoon. As far as I'm concerned, BDE wins via count out. Shout out to the 14 of you that's putting your predictions so far, including Unlimited 2, members of Tino DQ, The Rocket, David Diaz, Manuel, I see yours right here, Dwayne Agason, Jeff Chadwick, Walter, Jerry Collin, Darren Cass, Dave Scheffler, who just joined the TNA League, and Charlene, amongst others. As far as this is concerned, this is a match, and people are split down the middle, 50-50. It's 7-7 right now. AJ, BDE, there is no mutual favorite. But as far as I'm concerned, if BDE don't win, why'd you win to TNA? Okay, well, that was quick and simple. Moving on, let's go into multi-person action now. I hate this new layout, by the way, of StreamYard. I thought I hate freaking streaming services and television. I think StreamYard here might become a new hatred for me if it's not careful. But I don't hate necessarily this trios match. Cedric Alexander and the Hardys go up against Mustafa Ali and the Great Khans, of course, of the Order of 4. This all stems off the fact last night that Cedric Alexander was able to get the win over one of the Great Khans, despite Mustafa Ali's interference. Ali, of course, who beat Cedric Alexander back at Slammiversary to re-catapult his confidence. And, of course, the Hardys are still the TNA Tag Team Champions and have already been called out by the Great Khans, who likely want to challenge them for these Tag Team titles. Bottom line, though, it's the Order 4 trying to be put into their place, as the Hardys respect Alexander, and the Order 4 does respect anybody else. So battle lines have been drawn in this 6-man tag team match. So could this lead to the Great Khans challenging the Hardys for the tag team championships? Or once again in our lead, do you not trust? Then again, I wouldn't be surprised if Agent Zero gets involved here. And do you think that Mustafa Ali and the Great Hands catapult their way towards championship glory? Let's go around the horn and get y'all's thoughts towards this. Charles, I will start with you. Cedric and the Hardys or the Order 4? Who you got winning this trios match?
Yeah, I'm going with the Order 4. But Cedric's the one getting pinned in this. To borrow from JJ's point from last night. To return the favor of what he said earlier with me.
Fair enough.
I was say,
we're even now. No more stealing my points, Charles.
Yeah, that's Walter's job. Don't steal his gimmick. Bloody hell. All right, so we got one for the Order 4, Mustafa Ali and the Great Hands. Well, Emmanuel, the Order 4 are coming up a loss at Bound for Glory against the system. So honestly, they need to rebound here. And if the Great Hands, which JJ has endorsed so much as a great tag team and future tag champions, want any shot to be TNA tag team champions, they need to get one up on the Hardys that held down the TNA tag division since coming back for this one last run with no end in sight, it seems. So what do you think? Do you agree with Charles, or do you think the Hardys and Cedric get the better?
You pretty much nailed it to the coffin, though. I mean, well, you just said, like, Order 4 is to win this and get an opportunity for the tag titles and the next pay-per-view. Like, that's the future predictions, like, it's clear as day. Like, you could see the sun rising for that. And that... Datilla's gonna be like, Datilla's right.
Should have joined the stream, Datilla. Should have joined the stream. We'll love your thoughts. And apparently, Datilla's also glad Jay is endorsing the Great Hands. Always felt they were underrated. So
she's at work, so she can't join the stream.
That's fair. Respect. And shout out to my friend, Raiders of Wrestling. Datilla, you and I will talk later. Stay tuned, folks. She will be my next guest on a simple session. No love for life. And again, prayers are our passions. Focus on your job. All right, Mighty Power Ranger, from one Ranger to another. And so far, we got 2 for the Order 4. Could it be 3? Technically 4? Let's find out. Do I really need to ask, though? Yeah. So here's the Great Hands trying to take a chance against the Hardys, who are the tag team champions in TNA. How ironic. And against Mustafa Ali, of all people, who has a pinfall win over Cedric Alexander. So again, the system has proven that they are the faction to trust, and they are the faction in TNA wrestling. But this could be a new direction for the Order 4, despite the fact that only 3 of them right now are involved. But you know Tasha Steeles is not going to be too far away, or Agent Zero. So do I even need to ask, do you agree with Charles, Emmanuel, and Datilla? Order 4 hires a Cedric. Make it official.
Of course I agree. Charles admitted to stealing my thunder and my point. You know, me and Datilla were going back and forth last night, and I completely co-signed with her. The Great Hands are positioned to be the next tag team champions, to be the ones to dethrone the Hardys. If it's not them, the only other team I will accept is Sinner and Saint. That's the only other team I will accept.
I will agree with
both teams have been completely underrated, and ever since Sinner and Saint broke off from Eric Young, they need something to help reestablish themselves. But I think Datilla's onto something. I think it's going to be the Great Hands, and like Charles said, just repeating what I said. So I'm gonna repeat what I said. Cedric's here to take the dub. It keeps the Hardys looking strong going into their eventual title defense against the Great Hands. And it doesn't make them look weak because the Great Hands already have a pinfall over them. Cedric got the dub yesterday by pinning one of the Great Hands. He can give it back to them tonight.
And as I am the simple man, simply put, for the first time in a long time, ladies and gentlemen, it's unanimous. I agree. The Order 4 are going to win. You got to set up new challengers right now for the Hardys. They've beaten every current team and Nostalgia Act across NXT and TNA. At this point, the Hardys no longer need the TNA Tag Team Championships. They've done their due course. If we're going to reset TNA as we approach a final resolution, and this show is supposed to be called Turning Point, make the show's name mean something actually for the future of TNA wrestling, for me as TNA faithful. And I do think that the Great Hands and Sinner and Saint are huge candidates to potentially lead this tag team division or lack thereof. Let's be honest, outside those two teams, who the hell else do we got? Don't say the Nemeth. So I agree. I think the Order 4 win, and I think Mustafa Ali pins Cedric to boost the freaking great hands to challenge for the tag team championships. Whether Tasha Steelz or Agent Zero get involved, or Mara Sade or Leon Slater, who of course is heavily endorsed by the Hardys, whole different conversation. But for once, I do agree the Order 4 pick a victory. I also go with the Order 4. And according to the predictions so far, and shout out to the person that just submitted them, by the way, it looks like they're changing as we speak. Maybe they're actually listening to us. It is actually in favor of opposite of us. They're going with Hardys instead of Alexander. Again, I understand where people are coming from. It's the Hardys. They can't lose. Center's being endorsed by the Hardys. The match was just made last night. I get it. But you need change. And I don't know Mustafa Ali is the leader we need for that change. But I do think the Great Hands can be a great change for the tag team division as challengers. Now, if they can be champions, whole different conversation, whether or not they can lead that, especially underneath this fast of Order 4. But I think that, honestly, if the Great Hands and Ali don't win, Order 4 might as well disband. So I'm going with Mustafa Ali and the Order 4. But it's 20% in favor of us in saying that. 80% is going against us.
In Ali, I trust.
I don't know if I can necessarily hold that up, but I do trust that they need to win tonight, or you might as well pitch the Great Hands' chance of being that chance. Bye-bye. All right. Well, that was nice and simple. Good job, everybody. Let's go ahead and move on to our... Yes, man, I do see your hand up. What you got to say real quick?
If only WWE gave Retribution this kind of love, then it'll be in the better hands. But you screw up, WWE. Great job, TNA. We're building a better faction than that.
About to say,
If WWE had given Retribution this kind of love, they would have been in great hands. Waka waka.
and from
Get out
that
10,
being
JJ.
said- damn it, JJ, you fucking muppet. And with that being said, from talking about the one thing I hate more than anything else outside House of Torture in professional wrestling to somebody endures more than most people in professional wrestling, let's talk about the X Division Championship. Because we just talked about the Hardys, let's talk about their boy. As Leon Slater defends the gold against, can you handle this? Rich Swann. It is the TNA X Division Championship match as once again we find the youngest in charge, Leon Slater, defending the gold against an OG X Division champion, Rich Swann. And again, simply put, folks, this match was literally made last night after, of course, we had this kerfuffle with BDE, Leon Slater, and, of course, that penthouse nonsense. As, of course, the youngest X Division champion in history right now is continuing to forge his own legacy. After an altercation with First Class and BDE, Slater vows to teach Rich Swann a lesson in respect. And I pray that he does, because we already know right now, Lord knows someone needs to humble anybody that tries to team up alongside AJ Francis. So, straight up, X Division Championship match. And might I add, this is prior to what JJ is trying to call the last thing that needs to happen in this NXT-TNA partnership that still right now has drove my blood pressure a number of points that it shouldn't. Regardless of the result of this match, Leon Slater and freaking Javon Evans are challenging Retribution for the NXT Tag Team Championships during NXT Gold Rush over the next 2 weeks. So keep that in mind as well. Let's go ahead and get y'all's fosters to see if there's a new face of the TNA X Division. Let's start with Emmanuel this time. Emmanuel, do you see Rich Swann having a chance in hell to beat Leon Slater for the X Division Championship in this day and era? Go ahead.
The answer is no.
Good man.
And yeah, like Leo Slater needs a long-term run for this with this title, like until they have a credible challenger. But until then, keep laying him up and beating him, and hopefully you build up this young man to the TNA World Championship one day.
All right, fair point. JJ, Leon Slater, Javon Evans, it seems to be the most dynamic, bouncy, no-limit duo right now across professional wrestling. And again, Leon Slater, he literally is making history. And while your boy right now is the present with his crown, Leon Slater is definitely the future of TNA wrestling. And again, he did just start. Of course, he has had this title since Slammiversary after beating Moose the franchise, might I add, of TNA wrestling. So I honestly don't see a change here, but I just see another way that Leon Slater gets further endorsed in being that promise to the vision defined by no limits. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, 100%. I said to Attila last night, I think they have the opportunity to do something very special with Javon and Leon. Leon is already the X Division champion. I could see them positioning Javon to take the North American title off of All Ego Ethan Page.
Ooh.
And then the two of them winning the tag titles together.
Great. Put all the gold on them.
You want to talk about a partnership. Then you have a tag team comprised of a singles champion from one company and a singles champion from the other company holding tag straps together.
Fair point.
And they're probably the only team I could really see it working for. And then when they have their inevitable breakup, that rivalry is going to be glorious. As glorious as Bobby Roode.
I missed that. As I watch takeovers continue. That I appreciate that. Oh, he's done. All right. Well,
I've got Leon retaining. I'm sorry. Rich Swann is going to just go down in a blaze of glory.
Well, hopefully it's in his best blaze of glory that I used to endorse him as when he was TNA X Division champion and not AJ.
Hopefully this match doesn't go all night long.
Can you handle that? All right. Well, that being said, Lionel Richie non-copyright. Charles, close the thing out. Just say Leon Slater so we can move on because I don't think anything further needs to be said.
Yeah, Leon Slater. Let's move on.
By the way, this is how unanimous this is. 15 out of 15 right now on the Prediction League forum. Pick Leon Slater. Not a single soul, drunk or sober right now, is saying Rich Swann. There you go. All right. Good job, everybody. I feel very inspired by that unanimous prediction. Speaking of being inspired, let's go ahead and talk about the only women's tag team in professional wrestling history, shall we? Because the IInspiration are defending the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championships against, oh God, Victoria Crawford and Tessa Blanchard and the Angel Warriors, Xia Brookside and Ling Lee. This was literally made, again, I'm going to be saying this like a parrot, or broken record, or broken record, or broken record. Basically, the tag champions are willing to defend these titles, looking to be fighting champions. What a crazy-ass concept. And their answer was not by one team, but two teams. I don't know if you call Tessa and Victoria Crawford a team that anyone wants to see on their screens, but they have been a duo here in TNA Wrestling since this partnership began, much to my skin crawling. We just saw Tessa Blanchard, of course, beat Mean Jam Miller. I told you all. At Bound for Glory with a roll of quarters. Don't rule out them actually trying to do something stupid here in a triple threat with no disqualification. Why the Angel Warriors are the newest tag team on the scene in TNA Wrestling in Xia Brookside and Ling Lee, who just signed with the company. And they've already come to blows backstage. So all hell's about to break loose with these 5 Vixens and somebody that should not be right now in a TNA ring, but that's a whole different conversation. So bottom line, it's a triple threat for the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Champions. So let's see if anybody believes we're going to have new tag team champs. And if you all are going to really raise my ire, because I'm just going to start this off and say, I will be damned if the fucking IInspiration, who are the only legitimate tag team in professional wrestling, damn it, lose the cornerstones of the freaking TNA Knockouts tag team division. No way in hell I'm going against these two. Attila, you're already in my freaking bad shadow. So that being said, I'm starting by saying that Jessica McKay and Cassie Lee do retain. I want to see them go on Angel Warriors one-on-one. Again, you know my rules about triple threats. Buffer, fall team. I pray to God the fall team is not seen. Again. Let's go ahead and get y'all as far as that. I say that the tag champions retain. Charles, you're next. Who do you have leading with the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championships?
I'm sorry, Noah. I'm agreeing with Attila. We're going to get new Knockouts Tag Champions that's going to be Tessa and our partner. So there you go.
Oh my God, Victoria Crawford.
I can't just see Tessa not losing. I just can't.
All right, fine. Again, I'm not gonna, go. I'm just gonna let you all do your predictions. That's what it's all about. Okay. That being said, before I go to Manuel, it is not unanimous. 93.3% are smart like me. They went with the IInspiration. Why one team, Emmanuel, went with the Angel Warriors. Nobody went with that witch and Tessa Blanchard. So that being said, Emmanuel, do you actually agree with the bottom 1%? Or do you actually think the Inspiration retain, or do you think the Angel Warriors could give us an upset? Go ahead.
No, I picked the Inspirations and
Man.
to win this, only because like you said, like they're the only viable women's tag team in any industry. Put that in mind. And in every like AEW, WWE, why is the only tag team that makes sense is the Inspiration? It's like we need to have more girls tag team instead of being broken up and setting them up for the IC Women's World Title, TNA World Title, TNT title. Like, just keep them. Like it's okay to have tag teams. Stop breaking teams up for no good reason. When I'm talking about every company, stop doing it. We need tag team to revitalize them. Then what? If not, then why do we have these titles? Why?
Simon Miller.
But yeah,
why? Here's why.
But yeah, and stop saying that Tessa is a racist. Look at her tag team title.
Before I give it to JJ, I'm just going to put a disclaimer here right now. We do not hold the path against anybody, but I also say here that people can change. People need to be better. Humanity need to be better. And humanity, you need to get out of the freaking social media bubble. Thank you. This has been a simple endorsement by the Simple Man. That being said, hello, JJ. So we got one Inspiration, one Tessa and Victoria Crawford, one in the poll for the Angel Warriors. So this should be very unique. I will also say this when it comes to Tessa Blanchard's TNA returning calendar year. You're right. She did win a singles match. She's lost on the TNA Knockouts World Championship. Here's the thing. Hi, Jeff. Do we really need Tessa to be a champion again in TNA wrestling? Talking about turning the page from her past. Call it what you will. And yeah, she is still very obnoxious, and you can still call her what she is if you hold the past against her. And that is entirely up to you. But I'm a simple man that believes in living in the present and moving forward. There's a reason why I took a mental break to remind myself about that after what your Retribution did to my Championship match in Bound for Glory. Still hate your NXT for that. But that being said, Tessa and her. No! I just don't know. But that's a whole different conversation in itself. I want to see fresh talent actually get a chance at this. Hell, I better see Fatal Influence actually get a chance at this. And the original two ain't even in there anymore, and found Henley's injured. So that being said, that's the only positive endorsement I'll give your NXT. You get one, brother. JJ, what do you think? Who you got leaving at the TNA Knockouts, Tag Champions in this triple threat? What's the future of two of these teams and this other duo? Maybe me and Gia may get some revenge. I would love to see Gia just clock Tessa or Crawford with quarters and cost them the titles. Just saying. But maybe that's a little bit vengeful and spiteful and dark. I don't give a fuck. Who you got leaving at the TNA Knockouts Tag Championships? Go ahead.
Well, first and foremost, let me say hello to my dad who popped into the chat room. I saw you bring the comment up.
Yep.
But I just had to address him.
Oh, I
Good
appreciate
to see
it.
you in the chat, Pop. We're going for winners.
Yep.
The whole idea of the Predictions League is to try to climb up the rankings, not fall.
Yep.
So that said, I am going to pick the most overrated, the team that I don't understand the most, think are completely overhyped, and that is your girls, the Inspiration.
Thank you.
I don't want to pick the Inspiration, but they just recently got the title. They're not going to lose them this quickly, and I don't think TNA, especially with WWE's involvement, is going to make the former Iconics lose at Full Sail University. That would just be fucked up.
You think?
But that said, I would rather the Angel Warriors walk out of here with the gold.
It'd be an interesting surprise for me, honestly. I will say that.
I liked Xia Li when I first got back into things. Like I told Dattila, I thought she had a unique look, a good gimmick, good worker in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been thoroughly impressed by Xia Brookside since I started watching TNA.
I loved her since NXT UK. Such a bright side. Daughter of Robbie Brookside, by the way.
Yes, Xia Squared, as I call them.
Please don't turn that into a shirt.
But I even told Attila, I would rather Victoria Crawford and Tessa Blanchard be champions. And everyone knows how much I dislike the former Alicia Fox. I don't buy the hype of the Iconics, the inspiration. I don't. And I'm sorry if that upsets you, bruv.
I like that.
But I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I didn't come up in your era of NXT. So I don't get it.
It's fine. Yeah, I get it absolutely. That again,
I saw these women after they were released from WWE, after they went and had kids, and they started this little resurgence. I don't get the hype behind them. They're two Barbie doll blonde bimbos who look like they're leftovers from the Divas era. They are the blonde Bellas. Seriously. Attila was trying to throw me off of the stream last night. So, but I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to keep it 100. And that's why you love me. That's why you love me.
I respect that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm unbiased.
I don't get the hype behind them.
In
the Divas era, they could have been amazing. Now, I think they're just a reminder of what we've grown leaps and bounds beyond. That doesn't mean they can't be great wrestlers, good workers. I don't think we need characters like theirs anymore. But I have to pick them to win.
All right. Again, and if you're in super predicting and then the super predicting leads in partnership with No DQ, all opinions matter. Your opinions and matters outlooks too. You are not judged, criticized, or bullied for them, but you can be debated. You can be humored for them. And you sure as hell can also be ridiculed for them, because at the end of the day, if we're not making fun of ourselves, how can others also have fun with you? At the end of the day, it goes like this, and I'm just going to say it in closing. Inspiration, former WWE Women's Tag Team Champion, a bigger moment than Kofi Mania at WrestleMania 35, were treated as a joke under the Vince McMahon regime in WWE, to the point they both left wrestling. TNA gave them a rebound when they approached Bound for Glory, beat Decay, and became TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champions for the first time, literally, and had a good run during that time in the resurgence of the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championships. After they left and started families, God bless and congratulations to both, of course, Cassie Lee and Jessica McKay, the former, of course, Peyton Royce, who previously challenged for the Women's Championship in my era. Of course, I've always been more of a Peyton girl than a Jessica person, so I always loved Cassie Lee. She's always been my fave. It's just one of those things where I look at chemistry, long-term history, the combination and the duality of understanding each other, trusting one another, standing by one another. That's the importance of being a tag team in professional wrestling, and that is a huge, huge, huge rarity in women's tag team wrestling. Unless you were born a Bella, there has not been a more connected, legitimate women's tag team in professional wrestling. But this team actually can wrestle. They're not just freaking on the cover of a magazine. Sorry, not sorry if I struck a nerve. So that's why, of course, I believe in the inspiration, and that's why I'm glad they're back, because I do believe you actually have a tag team division, they can actually be people to hold up to. And for what it's worth, and all the bullshit I gave Ashley, and more notes I gave her so much shit, because I hated that gimmick, the Elegance brand was the perfect foil for the inspiration to beat in their pursuit to finally become TNA Knockouts Tag Champs again and be the reset. And that's just a little bit of history and respect that I will give to the inspiration and the Elegance brand for that matter, and why I do believe the inspiration are the right ones to hold the titles, still should. And you damn sure don't need a relic from the Divas era, Victoria Crawford, or an overrated, still heavily backfiring from her past, chanted R-word, freaking former TNA Knockouts and TNA World Champion holding these titles. So unless the Angel Words give me a WTF moment, and maybe justifiably so, it makes sense for the inspiration to continue to retain.
Attila, message James. Tell him to clip that. Noah just said something positive about the Elegance brand. That needs to be in the highlight reel.
That boy's got more than enough work already, JJ, all right? And that being said, shout out to James here at Father J. Hebers 95. James, take care. And you know what? Fuck it. Since I talked about the Elegance brand, I'm going to go ahead and segue to the TNA Knockouts World Championship because, believe it or not, the Elegance brand has a chance to get it back. A slim one, but nonetheless, still a chance. Because look who's challenging Kalani Jordan for the TNA Knockouts World Championship. Maggie Lee. M by Elegance. Yes, you heard me right. Why is she defending that in a triple threat? Oh, wait, did I spoil something? Why Kalani Jordan is scheduled to defend as a triple threat at Gold Rush against Jordan Grace and Lei Ling Lee? Yes, you heard me right, folks. She is actually defending it first and foremost at Turning Point tonight against the Elegance brand. M by Elegance, Maggie Lee with Heather by Elegance, and the personal concierge who are still looking for Mr. Elegant. No, hell no. No, it is not me. It never will be.
Enter,
me.
Noah. Enter.
No, everyone shut
You
the
could
fuck
be
up.
Mr. Elegance.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No, that's
Yes.
enough.
Yes.
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 Come on, Emmanuel.
Yes.
Get it.
No.
Emmanuel, tell
No.
Arlene.
Come on.
Do not
Emmanuel,
join
tell
Match
Arlene to
Madness.
message Noah
No.
and
Someone
tell
stop
him that
this.
he should enter.
No.
We could
Yes.
have our very own
No.
Noah by Elegance.
The day I call myself that's been the Elegance
It is
brand.
perfect.
The day I call myself that is the day I freaking see the Elegance brand win back the Knockouts World Championship. All right, let's go ahead and get back. Fuck me, did I just say that? Let's go ahead and get back to what I just said. Ashley, enjoy retirement. Take care. All right, back on track. Fucking hell. Anyway, Kalani Jordan, whatever. NXT superstar defending the TNA Knockouts World Championship against M by Elegance. Legitimately, this was made last night after Kalani Jordan did defend the TNA Knockouts World Championship last night against Heather by Elegance. Thanks to some clever play-by-play backstage by Pee Wee Herman Reject, George Iceman, the personal concierge, the Elegance brand is far from done with the new TNA Knockouts World Champion. Aston Team Umbrella made it official. She will now defend it against Maggie Lee. Maggie Lee's first chance, M by Elegance as she's known, for the TNA Knockouts World Championship. So can Kalani continue to prove she can do anything ahead of Gold Rush, spoiler alert, or will my blood pressure reach boiling points beyond belief and I change my name to Noah by Elegance if M by Elegance scores the win of the century, crazy what the fuck, then Jesse Jamie and Stephanie Valcure and seize the TNA Knockouts World Championship tonight. Let's go around the horn and see what one thinks about this. Since it's TNA versus NXT and I'm TNA faithful, I'm putting the NXT guy on blast first tonight. Kalani Jordan, M by Elegance. Jada, you're first. Is there a chance in hell of M by Elegance beating Kalani Jordan for the TNA Knockouts World Championship? Go ahead and say your pick. And yes, I already wrote what your pick's going to be, but go ahead and speak.
Your question is there a chance? There's always a chance. In football, they say any given Sunday, all it takes is 3 seconds. You know, D3, the Mighty Ducks, how long does it take to score a goal? Less than half a second. There's always the chance. Is it going to happen? There's a better chance of Noah becoming Noah by Elegance than there is Maggie Lee winning the championship tonight. I think that is 100%. This match is a showcase for Maggie Lee. Exactly what I said to Dattila last night.
Good grief.
We have to remember that Maggie Lee is still young in her career as well.
Absolutely.
Kalani, still young in her career. Granted, I think Kalani now has slightly more experience than Maggie, but probably not by much. Kalani has been performing as a high standard champion, you know, in NXT and now TNA Knockouts champion. Definitely given that ball to run with. Kalani, much like her man, Carmelo Hayes, has the innate ability to bring the best out of who they work with. Kalani is going to make Maggie Lee look good. It's just not going to be M by Elegance's night. I told Dattila I would be more worried if it was Heather. But it's not. It's Maggie. The only possibility, And I go back to what I said earlier regarding AJ and Rich Swann. Ashley may be retired, but that doesn't mean that she can't get involved. She just can't compete. How poetic would it be for Ashley to help bring the title back to the Elegance brand, considering she had to surrender it, which is how Kelani ended up with it in the first place.
Still being where not that should.
But my money, my official pick is Kelani Jordan.
I wrote Kalani before I even got to this match. All right, fair enough. And again, Maggie Lee, huge opportunity for her. I followed a little bit of her work during AEW Dark and Independent, so I'm very happy for her, actually. And you're right. She has a little bit more experience than Kalani Jordan, who literally is a new athlete, let's forget, that was raised out of the NXT program. And for Kalani Jordan's credit, hopefully she's more worthwhile than Trick Williams. That being said, okay, Kalani Jordan to retain, and I will also say, I agree, because again, spoiler alert, he's already booked for Gold Rush to defend against Layla Lee and Jordan Grace. Let's just be honest here. They kind of booked themselves to a corner unless you've been living under a rock. Not to mention,
who's to say they can't turn it into a fatal four-way, though?
I won't rule that out, but I don't. I
mean, this is WWE booking. They could always make it a fatal four-way, put the belt right back on Kelani at Gold Rush. It's not out of the realm of possibility. It's just highly unlikely in all likelihood. And I hope Caitlin wasn't watching when you ranted against the Bellas a moment ago.
She doesn't watch my content, and she knows that I'm mutual in my opinions and what I mean when it comes to a wrestler and a diva. And at the end of the day, she's a Nikki fan. I'm a professional wrestling fan. Simple as that. All right, moving on. That being said, it's a Kalani. Gold Rush, it's going to be Kalani. TV specials, we don't predict it because TV is not worth that value of a form or a Point Addictions League point. So, 2 Kalanis, and also before I give it to Charles, what the hell? All right, I guess somebody must be part of the Elegance brand going for Mr. Elegant. Not unanimous here, folks. One person picked M by Elegance. Charles, was that you? Do you got Kalani Jordan leaving with the TNA Knockouts World Championship still, or does M by Elegance throw glitter in her eyes and steal it?
I do see a championship retaining. Kalani's keeping the belt.
Again, I want to just point this out. All these matches was made last night during TNA Impact Live. And she literally just defended against Heather by Elegance last night. Keyword, defended. Didn't face her one-on-one, simply defended. All right. Amanda, I'll close this thing out. It's a freaking unanimous. Kalani's leaving with the belt, did you see?
Yeah, sadly, but this is kind of frustrating in my part from the NXT side. Kalani Jordan just turned heel, yet they booking her as a baby face in this situation. Because no, it's true. It's true.
She is not the baby face here.
Exactly. Like it's kind of weird because like yesterday, like she defended her title, and the crowd were cheering Kalani. That's not the thing you're supposed to do if she just recently turned heel. What are we doing here? Like it's like if you're gonna put her as a heel, then let her face somebody baby face. I get that Elegant Brands is TNA, but those are heels. And you're in Full Sail, and like they're not gonna cheer for like. I guess that movement. That's the only reason why they booked that. But
Emmanuel's brain is breaking with the heel versus face dynamic of TNA versus NXT, where TNA is wrestling on NXT territory and vice versa.
Yeah. So for me, it does not make sense. It's just I think there's just stepping 2 steps backwards and forwards towards Kalani's heel turn. But yeah, Kalani needs to win this. Like Elegant Brands. I think they're done. They like if we're not gonna see Ash Elegance in as a manager or being in ringside, why what it's like Tony Storm having her Cazarian and Tony Storm is not there. What's the point?
I'm about to say, Luther the Butler can knock George Iceman's freaking glasses down his throat, though. That's a different conversation. But I get what you're saying. The bottom line is this. She's been excommunicated from the NXT women's locker room, turned heel. She defended that by any means against Jordan Grace because she knows he's not a champion. She's not only alienated, she's irrelevant. And while Xia Brookside lately said, we got your back, she's like, I don't need you. Try and be a stone cold complexion, apparently. Stand for yourself, I guess. Good luck, Kalani. We'll see how far and how long you can do that. At the point right now, Kalani's not hero or face. She's her own woman. She's not even Two-Face in the DC universe. Bottom line, though, she loses that title, she's SOL. So right now, she needs to defend that championship and hold on to it by any means necessary, even if it means going heel against a heel faction like the Elegance brand. And it wouldn't surprise me if she does just that tonight.
Oh, well, let's note before we move up to JJ.
Go ahead. Then I see JJ, but go ahead.
Yeah. But, like, in Kalani Jordan, it's kind of stealing Carmelo Hayes' thing. She called herself her. I wonder where I heard that from. Gee,
JJ, I wonder.
I was calling her as soon as I found out that they were together.
I know you were.
So all residuals and royalties can be sent to. But the only person that I want Kalani to lose the title to is Indi Hartwell.
Same.
And I think that should have been the match for this card.
Same.
Because not only are you giving Indi back the belt, granted for another company that technically she never lost, she had to forfeit, but you're doing it at Full Sail where she has rich history.
Yeah, again, I don't know. TNA Turning Point, definition of the name of the show. Yeah, I don't know which turn this is. Albuquerque, the right lane, the left lane, the right way, the wrong way, the Johnny Gargano way. You tell me. But since you did Indi Hartwell and we all unanimous with Kalani Jordan, let's talk about Indi, shall we? Because you want to talk about somebody that definitely don't quit. The Heart don't quit. Indi Hartwell is not going to quit till she breaks Dani Luna. Because guess what? We got a no disqualification match. The 9 guys are going to be taking center stage tonight at Turning Point, and more so I care about them more than anybody else. So let's go ahead and talk about more knockouts, shall we? Indi Hartwell is finally going one-on-one against Dani Luna. Well, technically one-on-one again. After Indi Hartwell snapped last night against Dani Luna. Can't say I don't blame her. Since Dani Luna basically turned her back on Jody Fred and Indi Hartwell, going to business for herself and beating her former Spitfire partner 2 weeks ago on Impact Wrestling, Indi and Dani had a one-on-one match last night, but it all went to chaos after a chair was brought into play and Indi decided to get some long sought-after revenge, getting disqualified, but beating the crap out of Dani Luna with a steel chair. So she decided that she may have lost the bout last night. That won't be the case tonight because now I'm going to kick your ass in a no disqualification match. We've been talking for a bit about Indi Hartwell becoming the new TNA Knockouts World Champion and to follow Dani Luna becoming TNA Knockouts World Champion since this new turn of attitude. In my opinion, both these women right now are worthy of holding the Knockouts title more than Kalani. And maybe that's because I'm biased because I'm TNA faithful and I want to see actually one of these two hold the title. But nonetheless, it's not about the championship with these two. It's about revenge, proving a point, and making one step closer. And again, Indi Hartwell already had her chance at Bound for Glory in a very meh match where she lost against Kalani Jordan. And I thought it should have been her night that night. That cost me a point. Nonetheless, Dani Luna, Indi Hartwell, both women with one thing in mind, hurt each other, then go after the Knockouts title. So we reach a turning point with both these women's careers tonight at Turning Point when we cover Cibolo Studios. Let's go around the horn and see what you think. Emmanuel, I will start with you. Who breaks the other? The Heart Won't Quit or Dani Luna, the strength of subculture? Who you got winning this no disqualification match? Their second one-on-one encounter, might I add, since being part of TNA Wrestling.
Oh, yeah, because it kind of started.
I'm not sure. What the hell?
Yeah, Ed Buffer. That's why I didn't say nothing. Like I was
fine.
Like the internet, but yeah, I kind of concerned about this match, Noah, because I went with Indi Hartwell, but then I started to think about it. Does Joy Dredd accidentally hit Indi to cost her the match, and that's how she how she went. That's how she wins. Like it's kind of concerned now that my mind just crept. just crept in that thought that maybe we could have a triple threat with these three ladies or just threat, join alliance, and then Spitfire becomes a heel tag team title combination. But yeah, that's a different story. But yeah, so I'm kind of torn with this match, but I pick Indi to win this. Hopefully, I'm wrong with this prediction and what I just pitched out, but that's my only concern, that it will cost me a point if that actually happens.
There is another name I'm thinking about, though, here, but it really goes to show, are we going to keep spinning in the circle, or are we actually going to move forward? And that's why I don't want to bring it up, and I fear someone else might. I just really want to see these two beat the crap out of each other and the winner move forward. Because I don't know how long I need to see Indi and Dani at each other's throats without the TNA Knockouts World Championship in the middle of that equation. So that's my thought. But that being said, Bodyman's going with Indi. You're going with Indi. JJ, a majority are going with Indi. 13 of the 16 right now, but 3 people did go with Dani. Again, Dani Luna, she just went through this character change literally during the summer. And to Manuel's point, we've already seen a triple threat with Jody Fret, Dani Luna, and Indi Hartwell. That's what led Indi Hartwell to challenge for the TNA Knockouts World Championship at Bound for Glory. Dani Luna has yet to have a chance at the TNA Knockouts World Championship, period. So what do you think here? Who you got?
Like I told Attila last night, my heart wants Dani Luna. But if I'm betting on Indi Hartwell. I think Dani could benefit more from the victory, especially as you pointed out, she just had this change of character over the summer. She needs something to propel her forward. But I think all roads lead to Indi becoming champion at Final Resolution. So in order to get there, she has to beat Dani. And then you can play up the fact that Dani hasn't been able to beat Indi, and Dani can be the one to finally dethrone Indi.
I'm torn because I don't know if I want that moment to happen at Final Resolution or at Genesis, like when freaking Joe Hendry won the TNA World Championship. Because when Joe Hendry won the TNA World Championship,
I believe in Joe Hendry.
Damn it!
I didn't do it because we already did the gimmick. I didn't expect it to be done again.
Bloody hell. Well, I mean, there's a better chance of freaking him and Fia winning gold together than him having the TNA World Championship again, considering he's officially in WWE. All right, well, that being said, this is one of those matches that does have me scratching my head, despite the fact it was made official literally again last night. It's literally a rematch from last night with no disqualification stipulation. It's the no disqualification that just irks me, because does anything get resolved in a no disqualification match, or does it just escalate? That's another thing you gotta consider. And you're talking about Final Resolution being in the Crowning's moment. What if Final Resolution is the final time these two face each other to finally move on to that pursuit at Genesis? It just feels like to me that if Indi's going to have a moment, it should be at a grand stage in TNA wrestling, not, okay, here's the show. All right? And Genesis literally is a new beginning. It's the beginning of TNA wrestling's new calendar year. I'm just saying. But again, different conversation. But right now, I'm just going to say, begrudgingly, I'm going to agree with both of you, while you're also kerfuffled, but I did write down Indi for you, and I'm going to say officially Indi Hartwell for the win for me. Let's see if Charles agrees with all of us. Is he unanimous, or is he going to be odd one out? Charles, what do you think?
I ain't going to be the odd one out. I ain't that crazy. And also, I've said this point I expect Genesis to where Indi's going to get the Knockouts title.
Thank you.
So, since they didn't do it for Bound for Glory, so I'm afraid to do it for Genesis. So there you go.
All right, well, that being said,
I only say Final Resolution because I look at the name of the pay-per-view. And while I don't think it'll be the grand finale of the TNA WWE invasion rivalry, whatever you want to call it, I think it will be the final resolution for some of the angles. and Indi ascending to the top of the throne there makes sense. Otherwise, you wait until WrestleMania week and you put it on her at WrestleMania week and TNA's pay-per-view like they did last year. That way she can kind of get that big WrestleMania week-esque moment like she did at Stand and Deliver when she won it the first time.
That would be either like Unbreakable or Rebellion or some other weird name that would probably bring back.
But I don't want her to have to wait that long. That's another 5 months.
That's why I think January is long enough. All right. Well, that being said, though, we do believe the Heart won't quit and won't stop till she breaks Dani Luna. And this should be a hell of a fight. This is actually one of the matches I'm most looking forward to tonight. So, kick ass in there, Dani. All right. Indi Hartwell for the win, though. Okay. Only got 2 matches left, so let's see if we could trust each other's opinions on this. For do you trust the system or do you smoke them if you got them? And can you all figure out who the new Rascalz is? Because I for sure as hell don't know. And by the way, shout out to JDC, who officially announced his retirement in January. So to Fontangle, Dirty Dangle, John Dangle, Curtis, thank you for everything. Very curious what that means for the system upgrade, downgrade, reboot. We'll talk more about that later. Let's go ahead and talk about this 8-man tag team match. The Rascalz, Zachary Wentz, Trey Miguel, and Myron Reed. God, Myron Reed and Leon Slater was so fucking good. And they take on the system with TNA Wrestling. Botch, not personal concierge. That's Alicia Edwards. Put some damn respect on that woman that took the harshest bump at Bound for Glory. The ride or die partner of Eddie Edwards, who literally built the system in the first place. I still can't believe that's the case, by the way. I completely didn't think that was right. But nonetheless, that's what things are. And of course, most professional wrestler Brian Myers, and as I said before, JDC. The system taking on the Rascalz. And simply put, this kind of escalated from open fight night when it was the system and the Rascalz and another team, like Sinner and Sin, I believe. And of course, the system proved once again that they work. So basically, right now, he said that he will once again fight with his allies in the system, JDC, in an 8-man tag match at Turning Point. So looking at faction warfare, but successful and respected factions here, we have the system and we have the Rascalz. But again, who joins the Rascalz here? That is really the real question versus who you think's winning. So, JJ, I'm going to start with you. What do you think about this 8-man tag and who you think vacant is and which faction do you have winning?
All right. This was definitely an interesting conversation last night.
I bet.
So I apologize to the 2 men in the bottom row who I know were in the chat room a little bit last night, especially Charles. Charles was there the whole show. I think Emmanuel just kind of came in towards the end.
Great. You had your own podcast in the chat room. What the hell did I miss while I was knocked out?
A lot. But so to a point Charles brought up yesterday, and I actually have an actual number now. November 11th, 2025. So 3 days ago, the former Wesley Desmond Xavier became a free agent.
Oh.
His 30-day non-compete expired. He has since retweeted the graphic for tonight's match and posted green hearts on his social media that Trey Miguel has retweeted.
Time heals all wounds.
All signs point to the former Wesley rejoining his brethren tonight for Turning Point.
It'd be a hell of a return, I will say that.
My problem with this is that it was just earlier this year that Wesley turned heel on them and beat the shit out of Zach and Trey.
That's why I don't think it's him. I didn't even figure out his name, but I do like the fact you bring up that history and the fact that, again, I'm not on social media, that Wesley and Trey acknowledge each other. Please continue.
Hold on, though, because I found a little hiccup that could make it happen, and I mentioned this last night. So it would be a very TNA thing to do. And I say that in a bad way as an insult. But it would be a very TNA thing to do to just pretend like none of that happened. You know, Men in Black, flashy thing, yes, you didn't see anything.
Right, the neuralizer.
But Myron Reed wasn't around when Wes turned on Zach and Trey.
No.
Myron Reed could be the storyline bridge that brings them back together. Myron could have contacted Desmond to be the fourth man, leading to hesitation when Desmond emerges. Because Zach and Trey's initial instinct will be to not trust him. Smoke him if you got him, but I don't think the treehouse is that smoky that they're going to forget what he did to them. But he could also play the whole thing, maybe almost play an amnesia angle. That was Wes Lee. I'm Desmond now type of gimmick. That was somebody else that attacked you. I'm back home now. The only other name that I thought would have made sense is teaming with the Hardy Boys. Cedric. Cedric is known for being in stables. Cedric is known for being in teams.
Correct.
He would have been the perfect fourth edition here. But he's already teaming with the Hardys.
Yep.
I don't think we're going to get an NXT crossover. I don't think it's going to be something like Javon Evans, even though he would definitely fit with the Rascalz style.
That I do agree with.
But I think the safe bet is that Desmond Xavier comes back to the treehouse and realigns with his brethren. And if that happens, I've got the Rascalz.
Okay. Fair enough.
Because as you know, I will never trust the system.
Fair enough. Okay.
And because of Wes's heel turn, who's to say that he can't bring a little bit of that edge to the Rascalz? The system have become de facto baby faces. JDC was announcing his retirement last night, and the Rascalz interrupted. Even without Wes, that's a very heelish thing to do.
Yes.
Wes could be, Desmond could be that catalyst for them to have a full-blown heel turn and be a little bit more serious of a faction.
They did say last night they were honored. Usually when somebody humbles themselves to be in the ring with somebody, it does lead to maybe a change in personality, if not during the match, after the match, or later date to come. So I do see your point. Very interesting thoughts, though, all around considering Vacant, Rascalz outlook, and this match. And regardless, you're distrusting the system, I'm putting you down for the Rascalz. Okay, so that being said, JJ has set a very unique ballot for the Rascalz. But here's the thing, Charles. This is the most polarizing match of the night because it's almost 50-50. Less people trust the systems than they smoke with the Rascalz, 8-9. 47% for the system, 52%, 53%, excuse me, for the Rascalz. It is that damn close. And again, the X factor, again, who is with the Rascalz and do you trust the system? And it seems like JJ, again, just had another thought that sparked before I give it to Charles. What you got to say again real quick?
Look at the word that's written above that picture.
Home. Desmond Xavier.
Home.
And Desmond Xavier, not Wes Lee.
I rest my case, Your Honor. Go ahead, Charles.
All right. The court now recognizes Charles Schultz. Please present your case and go ahead and say your prediction.
Well, by that, it's already now obvious it's Desmond Xavier. It's now obvious.
Unless he's swerving us. He has spent the last how many years, Noah, in the WWE system? If anything, he's learned how to work.
True, but also, JJ, we're in Florida, Full Sail University. And go ahead, Charles.
Noah's got you there, JJ, on that point. And regardless, If it's going to be Desmond, the Rascalz are winning this. And they're definitely more being full-blown heels after the end of this match.
All right, fair enough. I'm fucking torn. Let's get Emmanuel's thoughts first before I get my pick. Emmanuel, go ahead. We got 2 Rascalz so far. And again, it is almost 50-50 across the ballot. So where do you stand in this? Again, JDC, yeah, he's about to retire. So where do you think he wants to end strong with his stablemates, as the System are also coming off that great win at Bound for Glory and Hardcore War? Do we just retract that momentum for the System as a faction with a loss to the Rascalz here tonight? I don't know. Go ahead, man. I'll let your thoughts go ahead.
Yeah, like once that match was confirmed, like there's one Rascal left to be filled, automatically thought of Wesley, like because he's been let go and it makes sense type of way. And that JJ made a great point, but does that mean that the system is going to take advantage of the mistrust of Wesley? Because they're not going to be liking that right away. So I put in my prediction that the system's going to win, because and the Rascalz have lately been taking pins and been seeing the lights under the stars of the lights recently a lot.
That is true.
So for me, like, it makes sense for the system to win, and that way, slowly by slowly, like they either go heel or they start trusting Wesley again. Like, so that's my logic. Like it's not gonna be like a happy reunion right away. Like, because if it is, then it's one of those things like okay, that was very easy without inconvenience type of situation.
This never happened. This never happened. This never happened.
So I like the drama, and hopefully I'm right with this. So that's why I'm going with the system, and it would take a while for them to trust him again eventually.
So we got 2 Rascalz, 1 system, and again, it is 47% in favor of the system and 53% in favor of Rascalz and Bacon. And while I just got done watching NXT TakeOver War Games 2018 with the Undisputed Era, that of course shocked the system for the duration of a better part of practically 4 years, I'm actually going to go ahead and balance this prediction and say that out of the gate, as soon as I heard JDC's retiring, I think the system is justified right now to continue their forward momentum at Bound for Glory and continue to be the most concrete forward faction, neutral favorites, TNA faithful and grounded individuals of TNA wrestling. I'm actually going with the system. Not only do I think right now this would just be a nice coup on the way for JDC to bid everybody a fine adieu, it's one of those things right now, looking at the last time the system was involved around this time of Fair Resolution, they were pursuing the friggin' TNA Tag Team Championships. It's also one of those things that I look at the fact right now that I look at Moose. I don't know what the future holds in store for him. Yeah, we got a new TNA World Champion out of the blue. And again, right now, I don't know what the future holds for Alicia Edwards. And I do think you continue the system's momentum since Bound for Glory. Again, we are coming off Bound for Glory almost a little bit a month later. I think it's been a month and 2 days. And I just don't think you reset that. I also don't think you forget the past. If Desmond Xavier does show up, it'd be cool. But you humble yourself. You regain that trust. You remind everybody who you once were, and you remind yourself who you are. Not necessarily in victory, but where you truly knew who you was in TNA wrestling, when the Rascalz were a complete thing. So while I do think that will be a nice homecoming, I don't think a homecoming necessarily needs a victory, even at Full Sail University. So regardless, since Bound for Glory, I still trust the system. I'm going with the system here. All right. Well, that being said, man, I do see your hand before we get to our main event. Go ahead. You got to fart real quick.
Like, as a joke, like, who knew the little Rascalz would become so big and mighty? I wonder what happened to Alfalfa.
Damn it. Fucking idiot. I get that.
They need to grab one of the producers from WWE to have with them. That way we can have PD back in TNA also.
Oh, Canada. Not copyright. All right, moving on. Again, stop it. Stop trying to bring some nostalgia back. The next name you're going to say is Rob Van Dam. All right, let's go ahead and move on from here. Oh, Lord, don't do that.
As long as he doesn't use that damn theme song. Doom, 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 doom. Rob Van Dam! The whole fucking show.
JJ, that is more likely to happen when he shows up at TNA.
You want to talk about one of the worst theme songs of all time?
Right? What the fuck?
I would rather listen to Billy and Chuck, You Look So
God.
Good to Me, or Rob Conway, Just Look at Me, as opposed to hear that shit.
Your small crap. What the fuck were they smoking when they made that theme for him? That made no damn sense whatsoever. Seriously. What were they thinking back then? Oy.
I think you said the right phrase there, Noah. What were they smoking?
Okay, that's fair.
But Jim Johnson on that one. That was on him.
You know what? You're not wrong. Oy vey. All right. Well, that being said, we've had a lot of fun, a lot of talk, a lot of random chit-chat, a lot of miscellaneous food for thought here, of course, as we get ready for TNA Tournament. But again, folks, stay tuned. We'll be coming back here in Iceland Studios. We'll be starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I believe, with our pre-show. As, of course, they do have a countdown. Countdown will not be part of predictions because just like pre-shows, I don't do that for the segment integrity of the show because I think if it matters, it should be on the main card. Period. But I will go ahead and tell you right now, made official by TNA Wrestling, as we get ready for our main event, we do have a triple threat match on the countdown. It will be match one with Steph DeLander taking on the hometown man. How many cities is the hometown man from? Just saying. Taking on Jake Something in a triple threat match on the countdown for whatsoever reason to see if that might lead to something. And before I get into our main event, oh, God. Frank Kazarian will have the King's speech tonight on the countdown to Turning Point as we segue into our main event tag team match. And JJ, I'll let you kick things off.
I cannot wait to go back onto YouTube when I get home and listen to the proclamation of my king.
Oh, I'm never going to get out of this, am I? Oh, no.
Nope.
Fuck me.
Would you rather be stuck in this world, the Twilight Zone, or Wonderland?
Frank Kazarian's King's speech will be on tonight at the countdown to Turning Point, as he also will be involved in most likely the main event of Countdown. Fuck me! Of the friggin' show. Let's go ahead and talk about the main event.
How does that championship look on his shoulder, Noah? Can we address that, please?
You just are going to keep on
Go ahead, Noah. Tell the world how amazing that looks.
Oh my God, I'm never gonna get out of this. Oh man, you're never gonna leave me alone about this until he loses that championship. JJ's gonna have the time of his life again.
Here's a more close-up version. Just go ahead and describe the beauty of that 10 pounds of gold on his shoulder, Noah.
That being said, the new TNA World Champion, Frankie gets. You fucking idiot. Oh, God. Oh, man. This is the biggest nightmare of my life in 2025. Okay. Oh, I gotta get myself together. All right. Again, congratulations. Let's go ahead and talk about this main event tag team match. The Call Your Shot Gauntlet winner, solo winner, Nick Nemeth, the most wanted man, teaming up with the brand new TNA World Champion, Frank Kazarian. They go up against the TNA International Champion, Steve Maclin, and the former TNA World Champion, Mike Santana, in a grudge tag bout. Legitimately, folks, this was the first match made. Originally, it was going to be the TNA World Champ, Mike Santana, Steve Maclin, a battle of champions versus Call Your Shot Gauntlet participants. But after the NXT rejects with Robert Stone ran in and injured Mike Santana to set him up and soften him for Frank Kazarian to call his shot, you now see that graphic as you see it now of a brand new face of TNA. In the future, now the present, Frank Kazarian. There is no doubt in my mind why Steve Maclin has been holding down the line for real TNA champions. He wants to send a painful message to NXT as well as the new TNA World Champion who called his shot. Of course, Steve Maclin beat Frank Kazarian at Bound for Glory to regain the TNA International Championship. why Nick Nemeth right now, I almost wonder, will he hope that Frankie Kazarian also gets injured enough to call his shot tonight against his own tag team partner? So what sort of chaos will ensue, and what turning point will this lead to when it comes to Nick Nemeth and Frankie Kazarian and Mike Santana and Steve Maclin in regards to the foundation that is TNA and the TNA World Championship? Let's go around the horn and get y'all's thoughts towards this tag team match. And we will start with Charles, because I know he'll be the simplest. Charles, what the fuck world am I living in? Please go ahead and give your thoughts towards this tag match. Which side you got winning? Fuck this NXT. Robert Stone, the Rejects, better not get involved in this shit. But what do you see happening in this tag match to conclude turning point, most likely? Go freaking ahead.
Well, one, I do enjoy considering again the title. I just kind of wish it was a lot later than 4 weeks. But
You mean
that's
less
just
than
my
40 days?
Drew.
Bloody hell.
But do see I do see Mike and Steve getting the win here. But let's be real here. This show's gonna end with another NXT invasion attack.
Yeah. I pretty much am like, oh fuck, here we go again. And it's even worse.
It's not coincidence. They did this 24 hours ago. It's like, okay. Now they're gonna do it again here.
The same fucking building.
Pretty much.
You got Kazarian and Nick Nemeth winning?
No, I expect Mike and Steve to win this.
All right. Well, Emmanuel, Mike Santana is not coming in at 100%. He's already got a bad right arm. He can't even spin the block. If he spun the block against Frankie Kazarian last night, he may have actually held on to the TNA World Championship. And again, what the fuck is Robert Stone doing back here in TNA Wrestling with those NXT rejects, the fucking random names? The only one of relevance was the man that he hoped would be in the John Cena mix, Brooke Jensen. Look, this king has been around since his fucking father, since he got blinded by my own sport. What the fuck are these rejects worse than Grand Theft Auto cast-off games doing in my TNA? Anyway, Emmanuel, go ahead. Your thoughts for this time after you agree and Charles. Oh, this NXT is fucking pissing me off. Go ahead, Emmanuel.
I'm wondering if Nick Nemeth is even wanting to tag with.
Yeah, I was about to
Frankie,
say that Kazarian wasn't in on the fix with Robert Stone and the fuck-ups.
Yeah, because he got attacked in the background in the backstage when he was about to catch in his cup, but he got interrupted by a mysterious hooded man. But that being said, like, why would Nick Nemeth even help? He still has a cup. Let Frankie deal that for himself. He walked away, and then once the match is over, he tries to cash in the cup. That's what I'm wondering. So I had Santana and it was winning. Maclin winning too. But I don't know. Something tells me they might be a screw job again. But I really doubt it, because what if Frankie is the mastermind of this NXT invasion? Because why ain't nobody attack Frankie when he was cashing in? Why only Nick Nemeth was to attack? That's the $1 million question there.
True, they did leave as the Kazarian was calling his shot. Oh god, if Robert Stone is freaking aligned with Frankie Kazarian, oh, I'm going to unleash fucking verbal hell. All right, well, that being said, I also do understand y'all's points, because JJ, to their point, the new TNA World Champion is teaming up with the Call Your Shot Gauntlet holder. So I almost think one of those two men's going to leave the other to the Wolves to either preserve their title or their chance. And again, Mike Santana is not 100%. So good luck bringing down this kerfuffle. While the show might be called Turning Point, there might be a point of no return in this Robert Stone invasion, leading NXT rejects in the TNA into a non-lethal lockdown period. And to think, this show started with Ava Rain and Santino saying, our relationship, better than ever, strong as ever, still great stuff to come. And then I got Robert Stone, these fuck-ups. Yeah, I'm not happy. Anyway, this match has me all kerfuffled, because what the fuck? So, that being said, Steve Maclin and Mike Santana. Steve Maclin and Mike Santana. Steve Maclin and Mike Santana. What do you guys say regarding this, and what's your final prediction? Good luck.
All right. So while you were talking, I was reading a little bit. I was trying to get do a little bit of digging, if you will.
Huh.
Now, I unearthed two interesting things. First of all, is a little bit of rumor. So I am going to preface it. It's just a rumor. Nothing has been confirmed. So take this for what it will.
All right.
But according to PW Insider, as of 11:52 a.m. Pacific time, so 2:52 Eastern time, Mike Santana has not yet arrived at Turning Point. Santana did not appear for his scheduled meet and greet after the last night's taping, and the word making around is that Santana has not returned the company's calls or texts. So is Santana even going to be in this match?
Well.
There's an interesting dynamic there.
And remember, folks, if the match is not with the participants mentioned, the match will be thrown out. Continue.
So there's that. Then there's the thought that was brought up about Robert Stone.
Yeah.
And why was only Nick Nemeth attacked and not Kazarian? Kazarian could be the mastermind. I could definitely see the King setting something like that up.
Hiring his own court jester.
But that would almost make it look too obvious. A better look would be if Nick Nemeth had himself attacked to throw everyone off the scent. Let's not forget the history between Robbie E. and Kazarian.
Oh no. Oh.
Nick Nemeth, the former WWE superstar who was appearing in NXT prior to his departure and signing with TNA, could very easily be leading this invasion. Nick Nemeth could be the proverbial Stone Cold. The TNA superstar who's bringing in the invaders from his former employee.
At the expense of his young brother who got taken out prior.
As joyful as I am that Frankie cashed in last night and became champion, I am beyond worried that Nick is going to take the title immediately off him tonight.
I fear you and Jeff will not be in a good mood this weekend.
Regardless, whether that happens or not, you still can never deny that the King ascended to his throne. Even if the reign was only for 24 hours. His name still is in the history books as TNA World Heavyweight Champion.
I know.
I'm going to bet on Maclin's team. And I say that because I don't know what's going to happen with Santana.
Yeah. You bring
because And we didn't really get into the Joe Hendry thing.
No.
With Joe Hendry having signed to WWE, as announced via Fightful yesterday,
As reported by NoDQ.com.
there's a mystery opponent for LA Knight tonight on SmackDown,
Yeah.
and there's a mystery opponent announced for Raw.
We'll be covering Monday Night Raw. Here's the web series, folks. Stay tuned.
I don't think, well, we know WWE's petty enough. I
Right?
don't think WWE is petty enough to debut Joe Hendry opposite their pay-per-view because they've got a working relationship. That would be beyond fucked up.
Agreed.
If Joe Hendry was signing with WWE off of AEW and AEW was running Rampage tonight, I could see him doing it as a fuck you.
Yeah.
But they have a partnership with TNA.
Yeah.
So I don't see him being that spiteful. That said, Raw's in the Garden. Heavy rumor is John Cena is going to defend his title in the Garden. Even if Joe Hendry is not the mystery opponent in the tournament, Joe Hendry could be the man to challenge John Cena for the title.
I mean, he's famous from London, Paris, Tokyo, Canada, Mexico. I mean, it's Intercontinental. It speaks for itself.
And I pointed out last night, maybe Santana lost the title because he's coming to WWE too. And what better place for the Puerto Rican from New York to make his debut than the Garden?
It all makes sense in context. It does all make sense in context. But I also pointed out that,
and I know common sense in wrestling. I know, and especially WWE. No, you don't got to tell me twice.
I'm not saying
Okay,
it.
but
I'm not saying it.
But this is also the Triple H era, not the Vince McMahon era. And you've got to admit, a lot more stuff has made sense under Paul Levesque.
I will give you that. But I also said previously when we were talking about mystery people, I think on the reviewer shenanigans, Joe Hendry has history with Eli Drake at one point. So him versus LA Knight would also be interesting. But again, it's just right now, Turning Point might as well be fucking confusing as the name, because between TNA, NXT, and WWE, I don't know what the fuck right now is happening across both these companies, because at the end of the day, NXT is WWE and might as well be a third brand.
And let's not forget AAA, who's in the mix here too. I still think Mr. Iguana could be tonight's mystery opponent.
That would be
he would fit in perfectly on the SmackDown brand.
You're not wrong. But either way, wow, we all actually went with Steve Maclin and Mike Santana as far as on paper goes. But again, if the match does not officially be what is shown on that graphic per se, it is officially thrown out, folks. Keep that in mind. And another thing I didn't even talk about like earlier when it came to people also connected with Nick Nemeth, Elijah. Of course, Elijah's arm, though, did get shattered during his concert, though, by Mustafa Ali. So, honestly, it also might play in Hardy's and Cedric's favor during this match if Elijah shows up and tries to kabong Mustafa Ali, but that's a whole different conversation. I think he more likely will be involved in that versus this, despite the fact he kabonged Nick Nemeth over the head at Bound for Glory to make sure he couldn't catch it on Mike Santana. And honestly, if Mike Santana doesn't show up, even if Elijah only has one arm, I could actually see Elijah showing up to maybe help Steve Maclin, because I do think Elijah also has beef with both of those men. But again, everything is so confusing and muddled right now. Nothing makes sense. So bottom line, we're in for a turning point. If not soon, very well, maybe tonight. Just keep Robert Stone and those NXT rejects the fuck out of it for me and my blood pressure's sake. But that being said, what do you all think Turning Point leads to? What's the turning point in NXT or TNA? What the hell's the future now with the new TNA World Champion at the helm? Does Nick Nemeth call his shot? Do we get an unprecedented 3 new NXT champions within a 48-hour period from Mike Santana, Kazarian to Nick Nemeth, and what would be the biggest what the fuck for JJ and Jeff's freaking life. God bless both you men's blood pressure. Does Kalani Jordan actually lose the title? Do I become Noah by elegance? Does something even crazier fucking happen? Do we get a new debut? Does someone else cross the line and show up as we've seen every week they're over? What the fuck's about to happen here tonight ahead of Gold Rush and this Johnson the last time is now tournament? And before we say WWE TNA in 2026, it feels like. Let your comments, let your thoughts be known in the chat, folks. And also leave your comments down below as we conclude. A few closing comments here real quick. Great card, blind guessing. Can't wait. Let's freaking go. Looks fun. Any further comments? One person said no. And again, for those that are wondering, as I did talk about the poll results for this match, it is majority in favor on paper. Mike Santana, Steve Bangor for the win at 77%. Nick Nemeth for Kazarian at 23%. So we'll see what happens. But again, Nick Nemeth for Kazarian, can they coexist? Will they coexist? To be determined. Literally a few hours from now. But that is your TNA Turning Point card, folks. So thank you all for tuning in tonight to Disney, and stay tuned again for our coverage. We will start at 7 p.m. If not, 7:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the latest, of course, because we kind of previewed the show already. And stay tuned again if you want to watch the show with us exclusively on TNA Plus for TNA Plus subscribers. Again, the countdown, we will see something taking on Vance Warner and the hometown man. And Frank Kazarian gives his King's speech. God help me. Again, this Friday, exclusively tonight on the TNA Plus app. And Turning Point,
I expect you to have a pen and notepad handy to take down notes from your reigning king.
You're just gonna literally keep going with. You're just not gonna let up, are you? Not gonna let up at all. Nope. He's just not gonna let up at all. Fuck me. Oh God, I'm in for a freaking wild, crazy conclusion to this year if things don't develop soon. I might soon say not my TNA if things don't change here. This is getting really fucked up for annoying for me, but nonetheless. Yes, the King's speech. Stay tuned. All right, and thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you tonight again. Get your predictions if you haven't already. I did write all yours down. Good luck. Emmanuel, yours are already in there. You know the change. And Charles, get yours in there. You haven't already. Let's go around the horn and get everybody's plugs. I know you got to get ready for work priorities or passions. Again, as you salute your king, I, of course, say thank you. All hail the reg rest of JJ Williams. Subscribe if you haven't already. But go ahead and tell the folks, JJ, where, of course, they can find you.
I forgot that you still had that one in here. I do love that one.
I know
you can find me on Instagram, the Renegade JJ Williams, YouTube, Casa D18 Studios, X, ROWJJ Williams, and Casa D18 Studio. No S at the end of the X account. Casa D18 Studio on X is where you can find me participating in and hosting spaces. And then, of course, make sure you follow us at SR Studios 2024, where you can vote for the first ever Simply Reliable Studios Awards. The poll is currently up for Babyface of the Year. Get your votes in now. Bit of a special category, as there's 4 men and 1 woman nominated for Babyface of the Year. That one woman is Willow Nightingale.
I knew he was going to say that name. And by the way, I'm just going to say this real quick. Blood and Guts was fucking amazing. And those women are violent, beautiful bitches. That's
you know what? I give Thekla and Julia Hart props for the climbing out through the diamond hole spot.
So cool.
That was so innovative.
Right?
And I joked yesterday with DJ on his episode of Rock and Ropes. That only worked for them because the other 10 women botched myself because I'm not used to there being 6-on-6.
Right?
The other 10 women got bigger asses than those 2. That's the only reason it worked for those 2.
I mean,
anybody else probably would have got stuck trying to crawl out of there. And it would have looked like that scene in Winnie the Pooh where Pooh's stuck in the little hole in his wall trying to get honey.
Always got to bring it back to Disney. Again, all I know is this. That Blood and Guts match was the only thing I needed to see involving 2 rings and 1 cage and competitors that bleed and fight. That was so fucking good. And the women, mad respect. And Sky Blue, MVP for the Crimson Face. That was the match for her. She was born hardcore out of the room. God bless that bitch. All right. And again, you can go watch that in the archives posted by studios. Again, that was one of the most fun watch-alongs I've done this whole year. And thank you for that, JJ. And again, if I don't see you tonight, see you for the shenanigans. If you need me to moderate, I will. And again, congratulations to your boy, Frank Kazarian. I'll keep you in tune what he does tonight on the King's Speech and in the main event. Good luck and have a great shift. All right, Charles, go ahead and plug your stuff. I know your plug is very simple, but go ahead because you still matter. We got to get him a graphic. Manhole cover, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Go ahead, Charles.
You're an ass for that. I didn't say it earlier, but you're still an ass for that.
Who's an ass for what? What did I miss?
I didn't do anything. Continue.
Yeah, keeps falling down a manhole, freaking virtual manhole at TMNT. Shut up, Noah. You asshole. He's never let me down for that. You can follow me on Tuto Correndo on X. So there you go.
Yeah, it's simple enough. And of course, Manuel Dominguez, this is always a pleasure. I always appreciate you. I see you're a plug here, so go ahead and tell the people can find you what you've been up to.
Yes, subscribe to Interactive Games and Movies, where I do app games. Like I've been doing The Sims 3. I've been doing a lot of things lately. I was taking a bit of a hiatus because I was more worried about the World Series. I didn't want to be all mad and pissed when the Dodgers were losing. And then once that series is done, I start to upload again. So thank God for that. But nevertheless, nevertheless, like I gotta start to review my first movie, Friday the 13th, and I gotta say that Pamela Voorhees was not the only killer in that first movie. Yes, I think Jason was there. Because there's some deaths that doesn't make sense, and I will tell you why. If you just see that episode, why I believe there's two killers instead of one. That Scream movie was always a lie. There's never Mrs. Voorhees.
That's right up JJ's. He's not going to leave a comment. He might as well team with you on that because I think you're going to.
You got my attention.
You got definitely both the filibusters' attention. And, of course, you and Arlene will always have our attention, as I'm sure everyone else can follow both of you. Again, if you haven't already followed Los Dominguez, who also will be going to Survivor Series. And, again, you see their X, you see their Instagram. Show them love. Again, Arlene, all the best in your educational pursuits. And, again, go easy on Emmanuel when it comes to seeing John Cena in the baseball stadium. And stay tuned, folks, for City Predicting W Survivor Series. That will be coming up here very soon. And I welcome both Dominguez's to join in on that fun, as well as JJ, Jeff, Charles, and others as well, too. And thank you again, Emmanuel. Yes, Emmanuel, I do see your hand real quick before we close out.
Yes, I want James to make a extra match card. Me, Mrs. Datilla, Arlene, and Jeff. That would be a funny graphic to put up in the predictions.
We'll just find a handicap match.
And somehow get two mysterious people by my side. Like, if I could find two people who are girls who hate John Cena as I do, please join me. Or no, this is going to be a 3-on-1. Please, somebody out there help me out.
There's no saving you, Emmanuel. You're in trouble.
Yeah. There's no saving you. But I want you to think about something, Noah, as we get ready to sign off here this evening.
What?
Frankie Kazarian became world champion before we got GTA 6 and before James finished his documentary. And we live in a world right now where John Cena, Frankie Kazarian, and Samoa Joe are all champions in 2025.
This is beyond freaking nuts, I swear.
Damn you with that GTA 6 reference, damn it.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it did get delayed again. I just
Stop
checked.
me when I'm telling
He's
lies.
not wrong.
Charles.
It just got delayed to freaking November
I know.
next year. It got delayed to fucking November. We are not going down that road again where we're talking about pop culture. Stay tuned for our Canadian friend Ash Datilla starting a pop culture podcast here, possibly very soon at the Super Reliable Studios, where you might hear more about that and so much more. Oh, freaking world pissed me off. All right, I'll thank you for that. No, Jaden, thank you for that, Manuel. Again, thank you all for tuning in. If you want to find me, good luck. I'm antisocial. I'm introverted. I'm basically on your screens. I got my Marinello spirit renewed thanks to NXT takeovers of the peak era of NXT and Blood Guts this past Wednesday, definitely. But tonight's will still be fun nonetheless. At least the knockout should entertain me. So again, Follow me if you choose, the Simple Man Noah Foster, and then Foster 1916 on the X on YouTube. Want to be part of Predictions League, or gonna be part of these panels, for I am nothing more but a simple man and a lifelong fan of professional wrestling. Damn it! And of course, I only wish to remind you, encourage on the winners, the losers, and the betters, just fans with opinions of this passion we all share. At the end of the day, support when I respect your protection mentality too. Treasure your families, no matter how much they annoy you. And just to live enjoy professional wrestling, as simple as that. Again, we're going to be coming Turning Point tonight. There's far more to come on the Watch Alone schedule. Gobble, gobble. They did announce, of course, the AEW Dynamite Thanksgiving episode. As tradition, we probably will cover that. That will be the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. We have Survivor Series. We have AEW Full Gear. We have Monday Night Raw next week from The Garden. And who knows if you believe that someone will show up to challenge John Cena now that he's the new face for the IC. Stay tuned. And so much more as, of course, this month of Feast Galore continues with the content to come in and out of wrestling, sports, shenanigans, and so much more along with that. But for right now, we got a few hours to rest. At least I do. I thank you all for tuning into another rousing edition of City Predicting. And yeah, JD was right again. Damn it. But it is what it is. I wouldn't want this thing to be any other way. Hope you all enjoyed the conversation and the madness I had to endure, as I have moderated this now for over 150 different shows, and it's not letting up anytime soon. So please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend, hit the bell to be live on demand on any of the channels in Cinema Studios family. Again, subscribe to Emmanuel's channel, subscribe to Kazarian Studios, subscribe to Rage of Wrestling, subscribe to Bad for Wrestling in the genesis of her YouTube career, and subscribe to my Mighty Morphin Nola TNA favorite friend Dattila. Again, Dattila and I will be doing the next Simple session here on my Simple YouTube channel, Simmons Brand. Stay tuned for more on that. But for right now, I'm going to let you all rest. I'm going to let you all enjoy your Friday, whether you enjoy it with us later tonight, enjoy it with SmackDown, believe better things are to come, or just find something to be grateful and humble, or you have to work. So thank you all once again. If you haven't already, get your predictions in. For JJ, for Emmanuel, for Charles, for all of you in the chat, I thank you for tuning into another edition of City Predicting. And if I don't see you tonight for TNA Turning Point coverage, until the next time, make a positive impact in life, and have a good day and a good night. And thank you for tuning in to another wild, rousing edition of Simply Predicting, as we see you tonight for Turning Point for TNA Wrestling. Have a good night, folks. And again, congratulations to cast. We'll see you all later this evening at Cinema Studios for coverage of TNA Turning Point. Thank you again. Oh, bloody hell.
Long live the king of TNA.
Ah, damn it! Damn it!
That speech is gonna be something, you know. Something!
Something! Damn you! That's enough! Enough
Bow
of
down to the king.
Enough of the freaking gimmicks! Enough of cast! Enough of the glory! Enough believing in freaking Joe Hendrick! You freaking...
He appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Do you believe in the king?
Last time we're gonna hear that in TNA.
I thought this holiday season was about to be gifts. I was good this year. Why do I deserve this? Why?
Are you saying that Jeff and I don't deserve this?
No, I'm not. I don't know. All right, I'm hitting the button. Well, this is a whole different conversation for a whole different type of show that's not City Predicting. Thank you again, folks. Goodbye.
Later.
Congratulations, Frankie, for real.
Yeah, for real, for the TNA original.